Students, have you ever gotten a principal fired? I was sitting in history class when the assistant principal barged in. Is Francis Skywalker, me, in school today? I raised my hand and said yes. The assistant principal said, they need you in the office. My heart dropped. I had no idea what this was about. But as I walked down the hallway, I remembered. Last week, I'd pulled a stupid prank in the boys' bathroom. I set off a smoke bomb in one of the stalls just to see what would happen. It was dumb, I know. But here's the thing. I did it completely alone. I didn't tell a single person. There were no witnesses. So when I walked into that office and the principal said, we know what you did in the bathroom, I was confused, not scared. Because how? How could he possibly know? He gave me detention and a warning, and I sat there the whole time just replaying the moment in my head. I was careful. I checked the hallway before I went in. No one saw me enter. No one saw me leave. It didn't make sense, and that question just kept eating at me. How did they know? Then I started thinking about something I'd completely brushed off before. A few weeks earlier, a couple of girls were talking in the hallway about how the bathrooms felt creepy. One of them said she always felt like she was being watched in there. I remember rolling my eyes. I figured they were just being paranoid, but then I remembered something else. My friend's girlfriend once told us she saw a tiny red light in the ceiling tile of the girls' bathroom. She thought it was a fire alarm or something. We all laughed it off. But now, sitting in detention, I wasn't laughing. The thought made me feel sick, but I had to know, so I decided to test it. A few days later, I went back into the boys' bathroom and did something small but specific. I looked up at the ceiling, right where a camera might be, and I held up a piece of paper with a symbol I drew. It was a gang sign, something no one else would ever do. If I got called in again, I'd know for sure. 2 days later, the assistant principal came into class and pointed at me and said, "Principal's office." My stomach twisted, but part of me almost felt relieved, because now I knew there were definitely cameras. I figured maybe it was some kind of insane security measure the school set up without telling anyone. Creepy and probably illegal, but I just assumed it was about catching kids messing around. I didn't think beyond that. So I walked into the principal's office ready to just take the lecture and move on. He started going off on me about respecting school property, and I nodded along, barely listening. Then his desk phone rang. He looked at it, sighed, and said, "Stay here. I'll be right back." And he walked out. I sat there for a second, and that's when I noticed his computer screen was still on. I didn't mean to look at first, but my eyes just drifted over. And what I saw made my whole body go cold. It was a grid of camera feeds, multiple angles, like a security setup. But these weren't hallways. These weren't classrooms. I recognized the tiles, the sinks, the stalls. I was looking at live footage from inside the bathrooms, and not just the boys' room. The girls' bathrooms were right there on his screen. Some of the cameras were strategically placed to be inside the toilet bowl. My face went pale with shock. I couldn't move. My brain was trying to reject what I was seeing, but it was right there. The principal had cameras in the girls' bathrooms. Every rumor I dismissed. Every girl who said she felt watched. They were right, and he was the one watching. I heard his footsteps coming back, and I forced myself to look away. I kept my face neutral. I nodded through the rest of his lecture. I said, "Yes, sir," when I was supposed to. And then I walked out of that office feeling like I was going to throw up. The second I got home, I told my parents everything. Within an hour, the police were involved. Turns out the principal was selling the footage on online forums for extra money, and almost all the teachers were in on it. Now they're rotting in jail, and I haven't pulled a prank since.